Hi, and welcome to Special and Area Studies Collections, or SASC for short. We're the library on UF's campus that keeps specialized groups of materials like archives, maps, and rare books. Our collections are here to be used by students, researchers, and classes, but need to be consulted in our reading room in Smathers Library, next to Library West. The materials in SASC cover a huge expanse of time and space, and while they're all special in their own ways, most are handled a little differently than the books you'll find in the circulating collections of libraries like West or Marston.
This short video is going to introduce you to the basics of working with special collections materials in our reading room. We'll cover 4 main things to keep in mind, no matter what type of materials you're working with.
Along the way, keep an eye out for the book snake, who's always in our reading rooms to lend a helping hand. Come on, this is a library video. We had to do this at least once.
First, plan ahead. Most of our special collections materials are kept in closed book stacks, and they need to be paged by our reading room staff. We recommend that patrons email us at special@uflib.ufl.edu at least a week in advance of your visit with a list of your requested materials. If you need help getting a list together, we can help you with that as well. You can find our contact information as well as our operating hours and our policies at our website, sask.uflib.ufl.edu.
Second, keep your space and hands clean. We don't allow things that might accidentally mark or damage books, like food, drinks, pens, or sharp objects, on the tables of our reading room. Leave these in the lockers near the door, or, if you're visiting for a class, leave them in your dorm if you can. Pencil and paper or a laptop should be used to take notes. If you're plugging in, please make sure that your cord won't trip anyone or pull something off a table.
Clean, dry hands are all you need in order to use most of the printed materials in our collections. Restrooms are located immediately outside the reading room, so please wash your hands before you come in, and refrain from using lotion or sanitizer on your hands after you wash them. Lotion and sanitizer might transfer to our materials. Papers and parchment are natural substances, and they're quite sturdy if you handle them carefully. Since pages can get brittle or have irregular edges, covering your hands can actually do more damage to the book because you may not be able to feel your fingers catching on those surfaces. When opening books or turning pages, try to only touch the blank edges, but especially avoid anything that has been colored or painted on the page. Gloves may be used for other types of materials in our collections, like photographs, negatives, or silver or glass objects. But if you request any of these materials, gloves, which will either be cotton or nitrile, will be provided for you. Make sure that your workspace is clean and that you have space to move around the materials. Do not take notes on top of archival materials, and please do not ever write directly on archival materials or books.
If you would like to take photographs of materials, please ask reading room staff before doing so. The camera on your smartphone is a convenient and useful research tool, but please don't use a flash and don't force materials open or flat to photograph them.
Third, support the materials. Always hold materials securely with both hands. You may have up to 4 items on your table at once, but we do ask that you carry and use them one at a time. When moving an item around on the table, pick it up with both hands, lift it up, and place it where you want it to be. Do not slide the item across the table as the friction can cause damage.
Books in our collections come in many shapes and sizes, but the weakest parts of any book are the spine and the hinges for the covers, which can be damaged if opened too far or too fast. Cradles are made to support a book at the angle that it wants to open. Make sure that you choose a cradle the same size or a little bit larger than the book that you're working with. Add or remove wedges on each side to keep the spine and covers supported. And don't open a book past the point where you feel resistance from the pages. Weighted supports, also called book snakes, can be used to hold pages open for longer periods of time. Drape them over the corners of pages, and be sure to remove them before turning to a new page.
And finally, pace yourself. Researching with rare materials takes time. Move at a pace that lets you anticipate how the book's pages or binding will move so that it remains supported. This will also help you notice anything that might be an obstacle, like a book snake still on a page, or a clasp on a binding. This will help you use the book and also put it back the way it came.
Here are some specific things to look out for. You might encounter a book whose covers are either entirely or partially detached or has loose pages in it. If a book's cover is separated, support it on a rest so that it stays at the same height as the text block. Turn the loose pages one by one onto the cover, just as you would if the book was whole. Keep the pages in the order that they would fall in, and make sure that no pages are sticking out past the binding when you close the book. If a page falls out of a book, please let our reading room staff know.
Some of the books in our collections have fold-out plates or other movable elements, like maps. It's important to treat the folds as if you're opening a binding. Some of them may not have been moved in a while. Make sure that there's enough clear space and support for the entire plate to fold out. Some of these elements might be double or even triple the size of the book. If at all possible, try not to flatten them completely, and make sure that the folds go back in the same order so that it isn't creased or damaged when the book is closed. Taking time will let you remember how it was unfolded in the first place.
Boxes help protect the materials in our collections while they're on the shelves. It is important to remember which way something went into a box. Some of our enclosures have numbers to remind you of the order that they close. Other materials like pamphlets and brochures may need to slip back into envelopes. Keep an eye out for loose edges and paper covers that might catch on the sides of an envelope when you return them to their enclosures.
For archival materials, flags will help you remember where an item or folder came from in the box. Make sure that you're only using one folder at a time and that you move the flag as you go. Turn pages in a folder carefully and leave things in the order you found them. Don't move the pages around in the folder. Be careful when closing a folder. Make sure that the pages are stacked neatly, but don't tap the pages on the table. Paper, especially thin carbon copies, can be very fragile and it will fold easily under pressure. Gently straighten the papers into a neat stack before you close the folder.
If you come across anything that you don't feel comfortable handling, or you have questions about how to set something up, please let one of our reading room staff know, and we'll be happy to help. Let us know if you see damage, or if a book smells musty. This will help us get materials that need to be preserved into the hands of our conservation department, and will help fix small problems before they become bigger ones.
Remember, our collections are here to be used, and we hope that this introduction gives you the confidence to explore them for yourself. If you plan ahead, stay organized, support your materials, and pace yourself, you'll help keep our collections in good shape for the future.